New York City has bred some of the most talented and influential people to ever pick up a skateboard, but who's the king of New York? When I ask that question, I can assume a few skaters pop into your head, but I think there are a lot more than 6 or 7 people that deserve to be in this conversation. In this video, I'm going to highlight 40 skateboarders all born or raised in the state of New York and rank them based on 4 factors: NYC street footage, skill level, relevance, and cultural contributions. Of those 40, I'll shortlist 4 skateboarders who I'll debate with a few other New York locals on who deserves the current crown of King of New York. I was born and raised in this city, have been skating for most of my life, and almost everyone on this list I've either spoken to or watched skate with my own eyes, so I hope that gives me credibility. Oh! But if you agree, disagree, or think I forgot someone, let me know in the comments. We've got our list of skaters here. We've also got some Queens of New York in the mix, so let's get into it. Kicking off our list is Queens head Kevin Tierney, or KT, who's one of my favorite skaters to watch on Instagram right now. KT is a skater whose aura, style, and trick selection has kept him relevant despite him being in his mid-30s. After a few years of hibernation, he produced a full part for Hardbody in 2024, but had already contributed a considerable amount to New York skateboarding. And the stuff he posts these days on Instagram is perfectly new age. The trick selection, audacity, and execution is a pleasure to watch. Even if sometimes he looks really uncomfortable in the tricks he does, there's no doubt there's a high level of control and precision. He's aged well, has a playful approach to skateboarding, and probably has my favorite switch tray. Aside from his contemporary swag, KT is an OG. This guy is a demon if I ever seen one. Keith Hardy, aka Shredmaster Keith, is a name I would be shocked if you didn't know. Having been featured in a few street videos and also competing in local contests, the magic of Keith is probably best captured when he's cruising around the park. Or should I say soaring around, whether it be through the skate park or through a street spot. A perfect example why skating fast always looks and probably feels so much cooler. I know he just had surgery, and although he's not entirely at the same frequency of clips he used to be, he did just have a video part in the 5-borough video, and it feels wrong for Keith to be anywhere but the local legend here. B-Rod or Brandon Johnson, one of the Bronx's finest, is the epitome of a local legend, but I'm just gonna move him to demon tier right now because this guy has put in so much work over the years, having done this back 3 a handful of times, destroying contests, and being one of the hardest working and underrated skaters I know. He spent the last 2 years or so in Cali, but has been a significant force on the scene since he was a jit. A great guy who was nice to me even when I was a little kid at the skate park who looked like this. Brandon is one of New York's best. And next is Nicholas Ramos, also from the Bronx, and some may say is Brandon's seed. If you grew up skating here, you have to know who Nico is. One of the most technical and consistent skaters from the city. I remember seeing this guy at the Guanas Grind contest when I was 13 and just being amazed by the fact that he could gazelle flip on flat every try. Known as Back 3 Nico, that's a warranted title because I swear this guy can back 360 like it's an ollie. Easily one of New York's most underrated, despite being the only skater from NYC to place first in the Damn Am contest. Nico is a demon, but he's got more to prove, and we're all ready. Talk about an OG. Leo Heinert has been ripping up New York City since before I even picked up a skateboard, and it doesn't look like he's stopping anytime soon. This guy's pretty much at all of the contests and events and has some serious footage to his name. I mean, I just saw this clip the other day, and I don't think you guys understand how insane that 50-50 is. Like I said, still killing it to this day, and one of those people who just looks like they're having so much fun on their board. Leo Heinert, or Tony Hawk NY, deserves all his flowers and is a New York local legend. Dylan Nieves, I had to show Staten Island some love. We can't always forget about them. Dylan, although a little bit less active and high caliber than he used to be, is one of those skaters who, when I was growing up, I just couldn't believe the tricks he was capable of producing. A frequent face at pretty much all of the contests during the 2010s, these are the type of tricks he was cranking out. To be fair, he posts about once a month, so I can't put him in the AFK tier. Realistically, his skating is toned down a bit, but a known New York ripper. I'm gonna put him at the top of the Mahat tier because the streets still remember, and we got love for you, Mahat. Josh Velez, or Wavy Data on the gram, is involved with, I think, both Supreme and Hardbody. His exact occupation I don't know, but a very New York looking dude and a great skateboarder. Like a few people on this list, he's got that style that can come off a little bit sketchy, but his tricks speak for himself. You can tell he's a beast who's been skating for a very long time and has a pretty high technical ceiling. This is a name I've known since I was like 13. He seems to have maintained his relevance, an avid skate and Jordans dude, consistently active on Instagram. He's a local legend to me. Amir Williams, known by his Instagram handle Amir Gets Buck, is a skater from Queens who just lives for skateboarding. This dude has been learning new tricks, working his ass off, and showing up to pretty much every single contest for as long as I can remember. He's also one of those people who, as far as I can tell from his Instagram stories, and I don't recommend this, to some extent skates through his injuries, so Amir has quite literally been putting in pain for a while. Always learning new tricks, immense passion, and a seriously hard worker. Still very young, Amir is at very least a local legend, and I know he's got more he wants to show us. If you guys don't know Dustacks or Duran, then you haven't spent enough time at LES Skate Park because this guy's pretty much much the mayor of skateboarding downtown. Been on the scene forever and also a pretty damn good skateboarder with some footage to show for it. Deuce is an NYC local legend, and frankly, so is every other skater who was associated with Gang Corp, his brand and business. Definitely an iconic New York crew. Jose Zapatero is a skater who I was way too late to discover. We met about a year ago at an indoor skate park, and I definitely had a yo, who the hell is this guy sort of reaction. In a good way, of course. Super consistent and a really well calculated and precise trick selection. I'd go to say this guy's the New York Day One song, the way I think he could really do any ledge or flat bar trick. His combos tend to have a few layers of surprise to them, and the fact that he can hold a manual literally forever. Jose is not spoken enough for how skilled he is. I guess you could say he's like a New York City hidden gem. Seriously underrated, Jose is deadass a demon. Amir Dennis, an LES demon who was skating a bunch when I was growing up, took a short hiatus if I'm not mistaken, but is active again, killing it like he never left. Seems like he's out filming Street a bunch, has a deep bag of tricks, and is a pleasure to watch on the board. Simple as that. I'm gonna put him at the top of the Mahat tier because you got that real smooth style Mahat. Pause. Andre Beverly is another LES head who kind of has that style like Nija in the sense that he's an absolute machine and all the tricks he does are done pretty clean. Dude has dropped some serious hammers at the most iconic New York spots and an insane technique. I mean, bro, you guys are seeing this, right? Like, that's... He's getting back out there again, but has been kind of AFK the last 2 years. Hasn't posted on IG since April, but if you're talking about New York skateboarding, Andre Beverly has to be in the conversation. Many people know Rochelle Vinberg from the Skate Kitchen that absolutely broke the internet in 2018. I mean, that movie made her a full-blown celebrity, and one of the most influential skaters to come out of New York. She's got some street parts on YouTube if you do some digging, and some pretty impressive Instagram clips. Definitely has put in some pain, and despite a brief appearance in the KCDC video last year, she doesn't do as much skating these days. Still dropping some clips here and there, but skating doesn't seem to be her top priority, which I think everyone can relate to in some way or another. Nonetheless, she needs her respect for inspiring a lot of women to skateboard. I'm going with AFK from the skate scene, but that should not diminish her status as a local legend and an icon. Known to some as the guy with attitude from the Woodward Show, Frankie Spears is far more than a niche internet sensation. He's easily one of the best skateboarders to come out of the state of New York. Handrails, gaps, and ledges, Frankie is a well-rounded skater who has made history at just about all of New York's best-known spots. Despite your first impressions that may have painted him as a Long Island asshole, he was actually a nice guy when I met him, from what I remember. And there's no doubt Frankie is a demon. Born upstate but having made a serious name for himself in the city, Ben Cato's gritty yet super gnarly style is an inspiration to many skaters around the world. He carries that special flair being mysterious and slightly frightening in both his presentation and his trick selection, yet is paradoxically graceful. Ben K has some really impressive footage out there. Not exactly a technical mastermind, but I think this guy's a lot more skilled than some people give him credit for. And he's hitting rails in the city that no one else is even thinking about. Having been very consistent with his footage since his breakthrough in 2014, a staple New Yorker despite being born upstate, Ben K deserves a shout for the crown and will be the first skater in the King tier today. Alright, here's a skater you guys probably don't know. Billy Zhang hasn't posted skating in like a year, but definitely had the potential to be a deadass demon, or dare I say, the king of New York. When I was growing up, I literally could not believe how good this guy was. One of those skaters who almost seems like they're not even trying and was just made to be good at skating. Tech, buck, and inspiration, and a really nice guy, Billy is probably one of the best skaters you've never heard of. I miss watching you skate, bro. We gotta get a sesh going and bring you out of retirement. Even more AFK than Billy is Louis Tolentino, a pro skater and rebel athlete who has gone ghost from the skateboarding scene for some reason or another. Not sure what to really say about this guy other than he was a pro skater when I was a kid, had the highest ollie ever at some point, and was a really nice guy from what I remember. He deserves all his flowers, and I hope I see him at the park again one day. Philip Cho is a skater who's unjustly been off the radar of a lot of New Yorkers. A Maloof skate park local back in the day, but that does not mean this guy's a skate park rat. As you can see from his footage, this dude put in significant work in the field. I remember watching a clip of him doing a kickflip front crook and thinking, how can someone this good not be sponsored? Philip was AFK for a while, but is saving himself the ranking today because he's been posting some skate park clips recently, and looking as sharp as ever. I think we all want some new footage, Mahat. Troy Stillwell used to skate at my local park when I was growing up, and there's something about this guy that's just so steezy. I know you guys can see it too. Between the tattoos and the nonchalant ass attitude, I was definitely and still am very inspired by the way this guy skateboards. This dude was Hesh before being Hesh was a thing, and never performatively Hesh, which some people were. And I think he has the best impossible in the city right now. If you're a New Yorker, you know who Troy Stillwell is. Not the most active on his skateboard these days, having failed to post a New York City clip in about a year. So I'm gonna put him in the AFK tier. One time he gave me props for doing a no comply ollie at my local skate park, and I'm not gay, but I think I have a crush on this. Ryan Santiago, his Instagram username Tongue My Nuts used to be very inappropriate, so thankfully he simplified it for us. Ryan would also skate at my local Tribeca skate park, and people said him and Troy looked like brothers, which I kind of see, but the point is, this dude skated like a pro skater. Clean ass style, tray flip goals, and one of those people I was always stoked to see new Instagram clips of. Also, does anyone remember these Ride Channel shredded cards? This is making me super nostalgic, but the editing is making me want to crash out. And that's coming from someone that enjoys making very fast paced and sometimes heavily edited videos. Ryan had a kid recently and is justifiably AFK, so that's where I'm gonna put him. Gonna be real with you all now, I did not know who this guy was until I consulted my higher IQ skate nerd friends. But from what I'm told, Sean Powers is a New York legend who's been at the top of the scene for many years now, and quote unquote, what can I say about him? He's been doing the same tricks and skating the same type of spots for like 10 years, but making it look cool. Sean's style and trick selection might not be for the modern, desensitized, brain-rotted skate footage consumer, but it's raw, it's real, and it screams New York City. Pro for Pallet Skateboards, born and raised in Queens and back from a short hiatus. He's definitely a local legend, but given his resume, I think he deserves to sit in the demon tier. Alright, let's be real. When you think of King of New York, the Bronx's Tyshawn Jones, the Courthouse Kid, has to come to mind. Two-time Skater of the Year despite 2022's controversies. This guy is an absolutely phenomenal skateboarder when he decides to skateboard. And I think between 2018 and 2022, no one would even dispute this. He was the king of New York City. But the question is, does he still deserve the title? Despite a considerably quiet last 3 years, Tyshawn has been annihilating every big spot in New York City since he was a child, and will occasionally, although only twice in the last year, post pretty much disrespectful iPhone footage to Instagram. He also, as his Instagram caption for this nollie hard flip suggests, proclaims himself the king, still. A bit of a cool guy in person, but as a New Yorker, I can't help but be a fan of him. In fact, he's been on my wall since I was about 16 years old. But ultimately, we're gonna decide later if he's still the king of New York City. Alright, let me be real candid with you guys one last time in this video. I was not familiar with the proclaimed Queen's finest, Marcello Campanello, until about 2 days ago. But this guy's footage speaks for itself. A very elegant and proper style to him, and his spot selection and the way he goes about skating them is class. Also, this outledge is really damn sketchy. Let it be known that a lot of people in New York are not skating that thing. I'm surprised I've never seen this guy at the skate park, because if I did, he would definitely stick out. Not quite the prestige to be considered king of New York yet, I think, but he's a dead-ass demon for sure. Kyoto Umeki, Mr. Homies Network, Mr. Star Team. Here's how I feel about Kyoto, okay? I got mad respect for Kyoto, because overall he's a great skateboarder and he's been very successful. Pretty much putting the city in a damn chokehold with those pants. But there are two things that might affect my rating today. After he got some motion in 2019, he unfollowed me on Instagram, and for everyone who's about to say it's not that deep, it's definitely that deep. It's not like we were super close homies, no pun intended, but we had a few sessions together when we were younger and I thought we were friends. But here comes the real offense. This dude matched with my ex-girlfriend on Hinge, and when my name came up, he said, "Oh yeah, tall? He's a funny skater." I don't think I'd said a bad word about him before that. In fact, I admired you.
And now I'm in my dimly lit bedroom, digressing from my video, feeling like I have to hate.
And don't get me wrong, from both sides, I believe in an ethical and reasonable amount of hating, but that was out of pocket and uncalled for, Mahat. Those malicious offenses, I could drop him in the AFK tier, especially since, genuinely, his recent clips on Instagram do not impress me the way they used to. But since I gotta say my piece, I'm gonna call us even, and I'm gonna put him where I think he belongs on the list. Next up, let's talk about Coles, also known as Shithead, a strong Homies Network affiliate, and someone who is always very friendly and respectful to me. But in all seriousness, Coles is gnarly as f. And don't take this the wrong way, but he's one of those skaters that's kind of scary to watch sometimes, but always ends up executing his tricks in a rather smooth and attentive manner for someone with a rather aggressive style. I'm pretty sure Coles started skating after me and blew past me real quick in terms of skill and overall capability. He really goes to show that if you go out, put in the work, and try new stuff, you can and will do some incredible things on your skateboard. One of my personal favorite skateboarders from New York, Coles is an upper echelon local legend for show. From the Bronx, New York, Sean Butler, also known as NYC Sean, is a skater who had massive breakthroughs during 2017 and 2018, coinciding with the Instagram edit era, but his sheer skill and more so his technique is far greater and mesmerizing than to simply be labeled an Instagram skater. That being said, no one else is doing that. Not like that. Sean has delivered a respectable amount of street footage and has also competed in contests, once placing first in the Zoomies Best Foot Forward back in the day. After an injury that put him on a long hiatus, Sean is back outside these days. We already know Sean is a local legend, but if you're asking me, he's deadass a demon. Also, these guys I know are like good friends with each other, so I hope no one's bullying each other for this order. And that's something I have to say too, like ranking these people is honestly really difficult because the jump from skater to skater and even tier to tier is just not that great. Like these people are all on this list and even the honorable mentions are in this video for a reason. Antonio Durão, I believe, was born in Portugal but moved to Long Island at a very young age and took frequent trips into the city to simply put, fuck shit up. Antonio's been on the scene and been putting on for years now, but something very special has happened in even these last 2 years. He's stood out even further and has been hammering out tricks that are as mind-boggling as they are unpredictable and innovative. And between me and you should expect at least another one of these and maybe even at a very relevant spot in skateboarding. I'm telling you now, this shit's gonna change the game. A top contender for SOTY this year, I think we should be expecting a groundbreaking part in the next month or so. But regardless, Antonio makes an excellent case for the King of New York. Also, I'm gonna put him right here for now. That doesn't mean that this person or that person is the King of New York. It just means that for sake of this video, Tyshawn has had the crown, but there's gonna be a vote and a new coronation or a recoronation at the end of this video, so just stick around. Or don't. I mean, Mel Ramirez is really the only other skate creator in New York right now. Real quick, I'm not trying to overlook Baby Oshando and his significance because he's from Queens. I just, again, am thinking about the present moment because even though he was in the city for a sec a few weeks ago, he's spending most of his time in California these days. She inspired me to make my contest recaps and has been deeply involved in skateboarding for years now. She's a co-founder of the Bronx Girls Skate Group and even hosts her own contests. A seriously significant and commendable contribution to skateboarding, but one thing that she is missing that's going to affect her rating is she doesn't have a lot of street footage. Nonetheless, she definitely deserves to be mentioned as one of the queens of New York. As does Kava Vasquez, the other co-founder of Bronx Girls Skate. Someone who just radiates positivity and has always been there for all the contests and clinics. I mean, you really can't deny what these ladies have done for skateboarding in New York. But again, the street footage isn't exactly there. Time to go with the JIT. Brooklyn-born Luca Mayer is one of the brightest prospects in New York skateboarding right now. At 15, he's already got 2 full street parts in a style and finesse that you don't come by often. I mean, I wish I was doing crook nollie heels at this age. In fact, I still can't do them or back 360s or any of these manual tricks. And I bet most of you can't either. If this talent is properly nurtured, he's gonna be a dead-ass demon one day, but for now I'm gonna go with the Mahat tier because Lil Bro's still gonna grow and develop as a skater. And let's go with another JIT, Ari Musarelli. I think him and Luca would be really interesting to watch in a local legend showdown, but that's besides the point. If you don't know who Ari is, then you're behind on the wave because it is not normal for a 15-year-old to be doing tricks like this, like frontside flipping this set for Instagram and doing it first try. I mean, straight disrespect. Ari's really leveled up his skating in the last year or two, and despite some banger tricks on the gram, there's no street part yet, so I'm kind of torn where to put him. But realistically, the caliber of these recent street clips is undeniable. But now that you got the Hardy's hookup, bro, you need to drop a full part, and who knows, maybe you'll wear the crown one day. Queens born and raised Kareem Callender is a unique case in that, correct me if I'm wrong, his professional skateboarding career had a bit of a late spike, like some of my YouTube videos. But similarly to Antonio, these last 2 years have been pivotal for him cementing himself in as one of the greatest skateboarders to come out of New York City. Many of the clips and photos you see of him, he's got this massive smile on his face, and at least in my experience, this is not a facade. He really is as cheerful and as nice as he seems. A great guy and an incredible skateboarder, and don't take this the wrong way, but I feel like he's a lot better than I thought he was initially, and seems like he's still improving based on his recent footage. Some of his clips may not be as obviously impressive to people, but I'm convinced he could do any trick if he wanted to. A huge amount of talent and seriously relevant right now, Kareem is a marquee skater to watch and a contender for the crown. Brandon James, or Neva Skimp, is a New York local who I was a bit intimidated by growing up and still probably am a little bit. One of the coolest looking, best dressed, and most mysterious of the crew that skated LES skate park when I was growing up. Brandon is an exceptionally talented and stylish skateboarder who's been relevant for a minute now, even picking up some cash in best trick contests here and there. With a new part in the works, Neva Skimp is a name that rings bells and a local legend for sure. In New York City, it can be hard to stick out as a bowler transition skater, but Chelsea Demon Duncan McGillivray Smith is a name you should know. I used to spend a good amount of time at Chelsea Pier Skate Park when I was younger, and Duncan and his brother Angus were always there and always blowing my mind with the tricks they were doing. A few months ago, I was at Chelsea and watching Duncan and his friends skate the bowl, and watching people skate transition in person, especially people that are good at skating transition like Duncan, is one of life's greatest pleasures. His style and level of tricks speaks for itself. Duncan is a local legend. And definitely pretty cool that his last name is Smith. Brooklyn's Juri Ikura, very technically adept, has been skating pretty much every contest there is for the last few years. A really clean, no BS style, and not to make unjust comparisons, but is progressing a lot faster than many of you boys out there. I think Juri could be one of the best to come out of New York, but like these jits, she's still got a lot to prove and not too much street footage out there, but I know I would enjoy a full part in the future. Dave Willis, or Black Dave, is a New York-made skateboarder, rapper, and streamer who, although has been off the scene for a little while now, and has definitely reduced his skateboarding output, I'm gonna put him here. He deserves to be on the main list today. cool ass dude in person, and clearly this front blunt was significant because Thrasher gave him a whole My War about it. I'm not gonna post a clip of him falling because I don't even want to look at it. Black Dave has toned down his shredding these days, but he's nonetheless a New York icon. And for the last woman on this list, we have none other than Elisa Martini, born and raised in Queens. Elisa has been putting in work and progressing ever since I met her at Substance Skate Park about 5 years ago, producing 3 full parts and a handful of features. That's a serious amount of street footage. Probably more than the majority of people watching this video. Sorry, I don't mean to keep putting down the viewers, I'm just, trying to make a point. Her most recent and most impressive clips coming from the On the Corner video by Stick09. Pressure Flip was definitely one of my favorite clips. She's still got a ways to go and more to prove. First step in that journey is probably fixing her wrist, which is somehow always broken, it looks like. But all in all, she's stacked a lot of footage, her stock is up, and I gotta say it right now, Elisa is not only a demon, but the queen of New York City. W in the chat for Elisa. I'm looking forward to what you have for us in the future. For our last skater on the main list, we have Jiro Platt. I've watched this dude grow up from the little Grom at the skate park to a Red Bull athlete and on his way to becoming a professional skateboarder. Jiro's one of those people who is just made for skateboarding. His Instagram handle, Jiro Dreams of Skateboarding, just makes sense for him because I know he loves being on his board as much as he can. And I don't want to say it's easy for him, but he's definitely got some natural talent and that build, athleticism, and agility that a skateboarder would want. I know he's struggled with an ankle injury these last few months while finishing off that Habitat video, so I think this is just the start of what we should expect from Jiro. And a quite strong start at that. An incredibly skilled skater who's also competed in and placed in several competitions. Jiro is a deadass demon for sure, and given that he's only 19 and has already achieved what he has, I'm gonna selectively place him at the top of the tier and make the claim that Jiro Platt is the Prince of New York. The future's looking bright for sure. I think I've done a decent job with this list, but of course there are people you may think are missing, so let me know in the comments. But unless I made a gargantuan senseless mistake, I think this is pretty comprehensive. Obviously a few of these picks might be biased, but not necessarily without justification. At the end of the day, everyone needs their flowers, and I've got plenty to give, so here's a list of all my honorable mentions for Kings of New York. These people are either not born and raised in New York, don't quite punch up there with the rest of the people on the main list, or maybe I'm just delusional and didn't see them outside when I was growing up. Again, I'm sure I'm missing people that should be here, and maybe some of these people should have been on the main list, or even contenders for the crown in your eyes, so again, let me know what you think. Before the final debate, I want to take a moment to recognize a few other New York City rippers who are sadly not with us anymore. Dylan Reeder, Harold Hunter, Keith Huffnagel, Angus McGillivray Smith, and Kossi J. Joseph Loreno Zoraidis. These guys are all missed dearly.
Bodies in motion, one struck emotion. Wu-Tang Clan be attacking your promotion, flowing like the ocean. Blue, I'll be coming for your crew, flying skeleton style with the name at the gal. Is he going? If you're going, if you're wrong. If I ain't on your record, then this shit ain't really on. I never liked that chick in my life.
And now it's time to discuss who's the current king of New York skateboarding.
Where Randy at? We've been doing this all around his schedule.
Nah, for real though.
Yo, I think Spider-Man's the king of New York, bro. No,
I mean,
Yo.
or at least you've never seen these guys in the same room as Spider-Man, so.
That's a fact.
The three councilmen, yeah.
Talk to me nice. What up, guys?
All right, do you,
Talk to me nice.
has everyone done their relative research?
A little bit, but I'm about
A little
to just
bit.
I'm about to just freestyle this from the dome, from what I've seen on Instagram and stuff like that.
I've nominated these 4 guys. Granted, we're thinking contemporary, so the last 3 years or so. What do you think?
I'm jacking it, honestly.
Last 3 years.
The nominees make sense. Like, there's nobody in there that shouldn't be in there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
Let's go through it one by one, maybe. I'm gonna take my mask off because can't really see shit right now.
Yeah.
And I can't use the computer either with this damn thing on. All right. Should Should I share my
That's
screen?
tall.
Everyone want to introduce themselves or
It's your
not?
boy Randy, former skater.
Alright,
Just
I'll
former
plug you.
skater, man. You know, former kickflipper, Lennox ledge enthusiast. Talk to me nice.
What's up, y'all? I'm Alexei. I'm just like Randy. I'm a formal skater. Just do everything formally. Formal kick flips, formal heel flips. Keep it formal.
I'm
Keeping it.
Chris, former IG skater,
dude.
you could say, but I used to kill it in these streets, that's for sure. Now, professional jiu-jitsu athlete, talk to me nicely.
Is anything sticking out to anyone off the bat?
I mean, I think the obvious
As in
elephant
what?
in the room is, Tyshawn, two-time Sodi, always killing the streets in a unique way. Like, without thinking too much, I feel like it would be a no-brainer to give him the crown.
Yeah, I mean, I agree to an extent. And I think historically, there's no question. He hasn't really done much in the last 3 years. And I think as the king of New York,
I think we need to stop right there.
Yeah.
Because in the last year, he mogged Supreme, and bro, that's bonus points in my book, straight up.
Not to add to that, he's also building a skate park for the city.
I don't think it's for my insider info tells me that it's going to be very much like a P-Rod's park. And only cool people or extremely rich people are going to be able to skate there.
I doubt that. He's definitely gonna have some public servers, public hours, and he might charge you.
You think you're gonna definitely have to pay for that, bro? He's a
for sure,
money-minded
absolutely.
individual,
Yeah,
which is
bro,
I think a bit antithetical to skateboarding.
It's 2025, bro. Like nothing free. Nothing is free.
I'm gonna keep it real though. 2022, he definitely killed it. He had the food store for a bit over there too. He won Sodi.
Kareem has had maybe not as much footage as Antonio or Ben, at least this year and last year, I think. The king of New York, I think, should embody a sort of grit and a sort of style, a think outside the box sort of trick selection.
I mean, I feel like all four skaters on this list think outside the box in their own respective way, you know what I mean?
I think as much as I love Tyshawn, if you look at his footage versus the rest of these guys' footage, he's got a rather straightforward way of interacting with his environment.
Outside the box is just like popping higher than anyone else could.
Well, on the topic of that too, people, Tyshawn is very much known for, he has the most pop and doing tricks over these standing trash cans. If you watch all of these guys' footage, they all can pop pretty damn high.
Yeah.
Like,
who really surprised me? Antonio Durrell, that pop and the trick selection that he does is so refreshing.
The switch pop too. Don't sleep on the switch pop.
In a world of like everybody, like you see the same tricks and you see the same type of style, whatever. Like it's so refreshing to see Antonio to come outside and do those fake. I don't even know what the trick is called, like a fake flip where he's like
the
not
cancel
flipping
flip
that.
and the
Bro, Ben K takes some of the craziest slams, bro. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
slams, bro.
No, he's a demon. He's a demon,
bro.
There's no doubt.
Antonio skates like he wants to kill you, bro. Ben takes some crazy slams, bro. I can't even lie. And he's got like the slip-ons, and then he'll like sack a rail and like get up like he doesn't have nuts. Like it's crazy.
All right, so if we're gonna talk about all four people, because I'm guessing we've all seen all four of these people skate in real life. Who do you think is like the most shocking to you?
I think just Antonio in person, and even it shows through his footage, is the most like exciting and fun to watch because you never know what trick he's about to pull out. It seems like he could do damn near every trick.
I think he might very much be the most well-rounded also.
Yeah,
manual,
very
stairs,
consistent.
handrails, ledges, like he really can.
Yeah, that too. And then he touched everything. He touched everything, and I like that a lot.
Who of these four do you guys think is not the current king of New York?
I'm gonna say Kareem.
Antonio, Ben K, and Tyshawn. I feel like these are names that we've been hearing for the past like 5+. Even maybe 10 years.
10.
They've been staples in the scene. Kareem, I know he's been around. We've seen him in the 917 videos.
Facts.
But I feel like the past, 2 or 3 years have really been his breakout years into the mainstream.
Facts. And I'm saying respectfully.
Yeah,
because all of these guys, he's gonna have his time to shine.
I do want to say though, bro, Kareem gives me vibes like he's like up to something, like business wise. Like, bro, I feel like he's got some shit going on that we don't know about. But I mean, I agree with everyone, but I feel like he's making moves.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to nominate Ben K as king of New York?
I'm not the. Yeah.
I think as overall king, no. But as a very prominent player, yes.
So I think when many people clicked on this video and we are presented with the question of who's the king of New York, I do think it ultimately comes down to these two people. Does anyone want to cast their vote first?
I guess this is the part of the problem I have about choosing Ben and Antonio. Like, yeah, we're talking about King of New York, but like, we really mean New York City. Like, if we're gonna keep it 100, like
Okay.
TJ was born and raised in the city.
He's still
Where's
lives.
Antonio from? Is he where? He's not from the
He was
city,
born
right?
in Portugal, but he grew
Portugal.
up in he's a Long Island native.
Where you get that source from?
Yo,
Google and the border. In my mind, he's a New Yorker. He's had New York City footage forever. He grew up a stone's throw down the road. And like, there's something romantic and epic about the fact that he was a kid from Long Island who immigrated to Long Island very, very, very young, you know,
Damn, TP.
and yearned to be. I'm not gonna say he yearned to be the king of New York, but I think we can assume
He's on
he
the
was
way.
very much
He's en
inspired
route.
by the New York lifestyle, all the nonsense that happens over here, and he's made his name and he's made his case very well. You know, I'll just say it. When it comes to the last 2-3 years, Antonio's mopped the floor, and Tyshawn doesn't really have much on him. He's got a nollie hard flip down D7. He's got a
for the
nose
gram,
over
for the
that
gram,
thing.
for the gram.
For the gram, which
Tyshawn has most
also
definitely been chilling the past 2-3 years.
and that shouldn't discount Tyshawn's historical contributions and the fact that also this last summer he did that massive giveaway in the Hardy's event that was, you know, really something for the people. But
I feel like that counts too for King of New York. You know,
no,
what
for
you're
sure,
doing for the people.
He's still involved in the community, and his footage and what he's done speaks volumes. He's inspired the whole city and many people across the world, but I'm casting my vote for Antonio. He's done the most. He's deserved it. I feel like he's been overlooked a lot, and I think him growing his hair out was probably one of the best things he could have done for his career. He's got the flair. He's got the think outside the box trick selection, and that doesn't mean he's not gnarly as hell too, you know?
I also cast my vote for Antonio just because it feels like every week, or at least every other week, you know, you get assaulted with some story clips, IG reel, or even, you know, like a part like he dropped a couple days ago that was straight bangers. I mean, a couple weeks ago.
If we talking about this year or we talking about the past 3 years, I gotta go Antonio. I love it. It's that new style of skating, bro. Literally doing things never done before, I've never seen before. And yeah, like I said earlier, it's just refreshing to see something new in a world where every trick is the same and it's the same spots, and you know what I mean? So I think that's really cool. Yeah, man. Shout out to Antonio, man.
And
Respectfully.
it always seems like he enjoys skating, you know, it seems like he's having fun on the board and like he actually wants to do it.
Yeah.
And not just like he needs to get a clip quota, something like that.
For sure.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, you know, I love the answers. I love Antonio. This man has no idea who I am, but I remember seeing him skate since I was like 13 also. Man, my vote's TJ, bro. My vote's 100% TJ. And
I think TJ just resonates with you because you guys both have not skated in the recent.
maybe that's true, right? But watch, we're gonna drop this video, and in 2 months, TJ might drop a banger, and we can't speculate.
I think the whole city would be shocked. But
listen, I'm not gonna sit here and speculate like this man's not skating, bro. I know this
Yeah,
man
for
is
sure.
outside. I'm gonna build on this, right? Antonio DeRio probably deserves more money than he's getting right now skating. I mean, that's just facts. Bro, TJ is representing the whole Bronx, like all the city. And so while he might not be skating, he did a collab with Anthony Edwards, the basketball player, in his shoes. Bro, his brands are blowing up. He did that event that you guys went to. This is close though, bro. I like Antonio DeRio's Spitfire model, actually, his wheels. Bro, I'm gonna go TJ. I have to. He's tried mad things too. He tried the restaurant business. He's got his own brands now, King. He rides for Adidas. He's been rocking with them forever. So supreme shit aside, he stays with his companies too. I just gotta go TJ, bro.
You know what I
That's
mean?
what I was saying in the beginning, is that like the obvious answer is Tyshawn, you know, like yeah, he's the
Yeah,
biggest.
the obvious
most
answer
well-known.
is Tyshawn, for sure.
But then when you consider everything about like recent footage and just what he's been doing in the past couple years, that's when I feel like you zoom in, you look at someone like Antonio, and you're like, all right, he's taking the spot. in terms of like skateboarding strictly, not talking about the side quests and like celebrity status.
So
Yeah,
here's the
I mean,
question. Is that still like considered like King of New York if you already made it past the best of what you can achieve with skateboarding and you moved on to something else?
I think that's an anti-skateboarding mindset. You're saying like
He pretty
Tyshawn
much maxed
completed
out the
skateboarding?
achievements you could get, is what I'm trying to say. So it's like, what's really next?
The side quests.
Is that King of New York aspect or like King of New York as in like street skating, who's still outside every single day? How often we get to see them?
That's how I was trying to frame it, like who is the king of New York skateboarding right now? If you polled New York skateboarders, I think Antonio would come out on top. Maybe I'm wrong.
bro, drop it in the
It's all
comments.
subjective,
Answer in the
man.
comments below.
Drop
fam.
it in the
Yeah.
All right, there will be a
comments.
pinned, there will be a pinned comment.
No,
I feel like it's really just, there's no right answer to this. I feel like, I'm not even gonna lie.
All right, so that's
Yo.
that, you guys. This is the King of New York that we have deliberated. And if you agree, if you disagree, let us know in the comments.
drop it in the comment and drop the state you live in. Facts. This matters.
Facts.
That's that.
Yeah.
W Antonio.
W
W
Antonio,
TJ,
no
W
cap.
Antonio,
W all of them.
W
W
all of them, of course.
Anybody from New York.
W
Yeah.
anybody from New York.
If
I
you
mean, that was the
outside
point.
today
That was
on
the
a
greater
skateboard,
point of this video. But
chilling.
a
Yo, how
choice
many
has to be
W's
made.
can we get? 4, bro. W all of them.
I have one more thing I'd like to say.
Yeah.
If Antonio's the king, Ben's the executioner.
Guys, it's Who Kid. We got one. Who not king of NY? Who not king of NY?
So this quote-unquote decision that we came to definitely caused some uproar and disagreements in the group chat, to the extent that I'm questioning if I was completely fair and reasonable in what I said or how I posed the question today. But ultimately, I'm standing behind everything I've said so far. I also did a poll on my Instagram story, and these are the results after about 6 hours, which have kept relatively steady since it went up. It's hard to tell from the voters who is well-versed in modern New York skateboarding and who is considering the question how I did in this video. But what this poll does show is that to the average person, this question has a very easy answer. It also supports a point that Chris made, which I cut out of the debate, where he said that if you stopped random people on the sidewalk in New York City and asked if they knew any of these skaters, then the average person is far more likely to know Tyshawn than the rest of these guys. And I do agree with that, it's just not exactly the question I'm asking. Also, here's something one of my followers said, and I have heard this before, but I don't have TJ's birth certificate. If this is true though, then it would refute any legitimacy that Antonio loses from being born in Portugal. Or maybe you think we should disqualify both of them from the conversation. And here's what Brandon Johnson, who is actually in the main tier list, had to say about the poll. It's a unique and perhaps a pessimistic way to look at this question, but I actually think it's a valid point nonetheless. Anyways, it's clear that there are multiple different answers and perspectives when it comes to who's the king of New York skateboarding right now. So guys, please help us out in the comments. Who's right? Who's wrong? Is there even a right answer? I don't know, but like I said, I'm Team Antonio right now. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and kisses. TJ, I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me.